What's up, sluts? It's Nick from Goalie Authority. Got a juicy one here for you today. We are going to be doing a spotlight initial impression and specification of my custom 12.2s. We've been waiting 27 weeks for this. So this is going to be my very first video underneath the channel. I'm really excited for it. See a lot of guys like Kaz and Bones and Trav and Matt Hill with goalie reviews or hockey reviews doing a lot of different stuff, and I feel like there's an opportunity to kind of lend my expertise and my experience and kind of give you other sluts a different feel and kind of bounce some things off you. But I wanted to make this a short and sweet one, go through my specs, go through my initial opinions, let you know whether or not these are shit or they're worthwhile or worth paying your buck or actually waiting for them. Let's just get right into it. So this is, I think, set 2024 for me, coming out of the Lefebvre plant. I think I'm close to 30 between CCM overseas stuff. I went with 34 plus 2, 12.2. We went with single outer brake, double internal. I asked for the stiffer boot. They gave me the soft one. After 27 weeks, I wanted to bitch and complain, but I really couldn't at that point. They made some accommodations for me. They did same on same model designation for the color coding. So 12.2 is actually in red on red, which is super rare for Lefebvre. They don't like to do that stuff. Went with the FRS system, love it. We went with an open leg channel, so it's nice and flat. There's no concave like the CCMs have. We went with the removable tab for the outer knee wrap, which is fantastic. It gives you the ability and flexibility to remove it. Add it as you need. And the one thing that I added, because I'm an old fuck, is I did the leather strap through the knee block. I find it allows the knee to stay closer in, the pad to stay centered when you're actually shuffling, moving, T-pushing, reverse VH, standard VH, whatever it may be. It gives me more confidence in knowing that the pad's exactly where I expect it to be, time and time again. So I think that's a really nice feature. That's the basics of the pads. Really not a lot of adjustment that I've done on them in terms of specifications. I'll give you my insight on that one. Just going to run through the specs of the other stuff. So glove, the coup de grace, the 580 or the 90-degree break, whatever you want to call it. Many have tried to duplicate it and they never can. So this is an awesome glove. These guys are the originators of it. Nothing quite feels like it. And I'll do an in-depth review comparing these between the eFlex 5, which I think is arguably the sister pad of this or the closest replication of it. Only spec I really did on this guy is I just went for the Game Ready Plus. So Lefebvre does this new thing where they do a plus. So you can get a Game Plus, you can do a Practice Plus, you can do a Pro Plus. And all that means is on the inside of the palm here, just below the Gen Pro, they've actually added D30 foam. I might be wrong on this. Chastise me below. Let me know exactly what I've gotten wrong. And I just find it gives you the best of both worlds. Gives you pro level protection if you miss the puck and you catch something in a funny spot, but you also get right out of the box. It closes nice, just like butter. On the backhand, we went with all the elastic quick release. I think it's really nice function. And then they've actually made the cuff wide open compared to traditional. If you've ever worn a 580 before, this actually used to be a rectangle that would shoot back and you wouldn't actually be able to do active hands because you'd be catching it. Really nice, love the glove. There's nothing better. Blocker, pretty much standard issue. Only modifications that I made for this one, I did a medium palm and then we did the suregrip on the inside. I find this wears a little bit better, and we'll get into it with the CCM eFlex compared to these, but the material that they're using is actually double padded. It's awesome. Open cuff. We did the contoured index finger. Pretty straightforward. You can use these right out of the box. They're set to go. So initial impressions, starting with the blocker. It's a Lefebvre blocker. There's nothing special. Doesn't matter if you're looking at the CCM. It's the same blocker. Nothing's changed. There's really nothing significant or special about this blocker. It does exactly what you need it to do. Glove-wise, kind of touched on it before, it's essentially perfect in every single capacity. Again, this is a very personal thing. You could have the 600 or you could have the 590 brake, whatever it may be. It's all personal preference at the end of the day. As long as it fits you properly, you feel like you have enough control, it's stable, it closes properly with your hand size, you're set to go. But the way they've constructed this, initial impressions, they've really hit it out of the park. Nothing grabs, nothing binds, nothing bothers the back of my hand. Everything is completely adjustable. The fit and finish on it is essentially second to none. When I compare these against, CCM, we should call this essentially the fuck CCM video. The stitch work and the material they're using is not pro quality, and I cannot justify spending $3,000 Canadian on that when I can get these for 3,000 Canadian, even though this is 27 weeks. So glove wise, I'll probably order another one. Awesome, love the shit. Pad wise, this is the one where I wasn't completely sure, because I've been using E-Flex 2s, so the E-Flex lineup, and I really liked how they played. They're very supple, they're versatile, and they're very comfortable. But this guy is like the best of both worlds. So when I worked at Simmons, we designed a pad called the 993, and we were one of the first ones to do a squared up inside roll. And the one thing that I've noticed is a lot of manufacturers, pretty much Lefebvre, they went to the rounded inside roll, and they've been carrying that over for years and years. And these guys actually switched it over to a full squared roll. And when I compare these against the CCM's actually, they use a softer HD, so it doesn't stay straight, it wraps. So you don't get a complete flush, and it almost feels like you're balancing when you're in your butterfly. In terms of the fit and finish on these guys, again, second to none. I don't believe there's been any compromises made. We'll get into it with the CCMs again, but just in terms of how they've constructed the knee block, this knee block is about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thicker than the CCM. So I thought that was very weird. But in terms of construction, I really like how they haven't added extra material up here for weight. I know Bauer and CCM do it for aesthetics. I think it's just a redundancy and it should just be eliminated. And when we work our way into the leg channel, you'll actually see it is completely flat. It is very hard to see on camera, but it is completely flat, allowing very, very smooth transitions, whether or not it's from butterfly, VH, and you're shuffling, you're moving around, it moves with you and allows the FRS system to really do its job. My favorite part of the entire pad is the boot. This is my favorite boot I've ever seen and I've ever used on any single pad. Just the way they've actually cleaned it all up. It's beautiful to look at, it really is. So it's almost completely flat. There is a little bit of an inset here, and that's specifically just for the lacing that's going through it. It's pulling through. If that wasn't there, it would be completely flat. On the inside, they use all Gen Pro, and then they're using a nylon where your pad isn't actually touching your skate, which I think is brilliant. It saves on weight. And then in terms of the construction of it, they've actually tidied up all the binding. It's very neat. And even how they close it on the end. They've tucked everything in and then they've bound it. This is my favorite part. I've legitimately rolled my ankle several different times, so mobility is not the greatest for me anymore, old as fuck. But I find in combination with the wide open leg channel, FRS, and this boot, I was able to move better than I've ever imagined. I'll give a shout out to Trav, even though I hate his fucking guts, because he's just a slut and just wants to get free promos. These pro laces are like God's gift to goalies. They're phenomenal. Lefebvre is using them on all their stuff. I think they could be a little bit longer. I find they're a little bit too short, but I'm still getting used to it. The initial part is a skate lace, so there's no flex. And then the second part is a flex, and then they actually tie it together. And then they do actually give you the ability to move the toe bridge over, depending on your style, your comfort. Yeah. That's the 12.2s. They are worth the wait, in short. but I'll get some video on ice. I will get some comparison between the E-Flex, but they're worth the wait and they are fucking brilliant. Thank you, Lefebvre, for letting us actually buy this stuff. Not sure how much longer you're gonna be able to buy it for. I imagine they're probably gonna shift overseas due to demand. But that's the Spotlight. Enjoy. If you have any comments or questions, put them below. I'm learning, I'm growing with this channel. This is my first video, so if you hate it, tell me. If you love it, tell me. I always welcome criticism, the good and the bad and the ugly. Thanks so much, and have a great day. Cheers, guys.